So, calling all creators, this one's for you, but have you ever been into the WWE 2K19 moveset and just gone through the moveset and had a look at certain superstars? And have you ever had that feeling that the movesets don't quite add up to the superstar they relate to? This is something that's been playing on my mind as we're going through and setting up Universe Mode WrestleMania for 2K19, and I think it is something that needs to be improved for WWE 2K20. Now, as I just said, we're working on WrestleMania, and a part of that process is to create an arena. It's also creating attires, but also it's focusing on the match. And part of that match is making sure that superstars have the right moves in their moveset. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, 2K do this already. They do, but I've found, and my brother, and this is what sparked this conversation, and I want you to get involved in the comment section below, we found that the movesets aren't always superstar accurate or specific to a certain superstar. And in some instances as well, yes, they have a few key moves, but again, it doesn't feel like a lot of analysis has been done to make sure that that moveset relates to that superstar 100%. And there's plenty of ways that can be done. I mean, if you go on YouTube alone, there is like the top 20 moves of every superstar out there. So I mean, you could get the bulk of it done by looking at those videos. Now, I'm not entirely sure of 2K's process when it comes to move selection. I don't really know what they do, and it is something that I should really ask if I have the opportunity to interview anyone at 2K this year. I'd love to know the process. Now, do they go and approach a WWE superstar and say, what moves do you want in, what moves don't you want? I think that's highly unlikely considering the size of the roster. What sort of analysis do they do which determines the best moves for the superstar? Do they go and watch old tapes of the superstar and pick out the moves that come up the most? I simply don't know. Or do they generalize the moveset in some instances? So they say, look, we'll give that superstar one or two moves that we definitely know they will do, and then the other couple, we'll just make them generic. Now, if they do that, I can maybe understand it because we have such a large roster, but it would be nice if these movesets were 100% superstar accurate. And we have found that. We have found that because we've been doing this work, like I said, with WWE 2K19 for Universe Mode WrestleMania. We've been trying to apply the movesets, and we're having to go in and edit them and take a move out and then put in a move which we think suits that superstar much better. We've done it with Brock Lesnar, who you'd probably be surprised with because, of course, his moveset has diminished over the years. It's just suplex, 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 F5. But even the German suplex, it should be accurate to Lesnar. And I've found that he's got a German suplex which has a bridge. When has Lesnar done that? He doesn't. And I just kind of think that there are better German suplexes that could have been assigned to him, which makes him more impactful and more explosive. And we found that going through other superstars too. And in some instances, we've found that, quite frankly, that superstar has never done that move. So how has that move got into his or her moveset? Go figure. I don't know. But somehow they do. Now, I looked at the Big Boss Man when I was creating my 2K20 Legends Mode video, and he did the final cut. I don't think I've ever seen the Big Boss Man perform a final cut. I could be proved wrong. I wasn't the biggest Big Boss Man fan, but it just, to me, when he hit that move, I was like, I don't think the Boss Man's done that move before. It felt really weird. It felt awkward. It felt off. I wasn't keen on it. So that's just one example that just kind of hit me and jumped out. But there also are other instances as well that even when the moveset is on point, the game doesn't always follow the moveset. And you're probably thinking, what the hell is he talking about? Well, I'm talking about that. Have you ever noticed if you try and trigger, it's usually if you press up on the analog stick, and you might have a move that's specifically assigned to up on the analog stick. You go for that move, but for some reason the timing isn't quite right. And instead of doing that move, the CPU overrules it and performs a really shoddy suplex. Have you ever had that? Try it out. You'll find that it happens. It's almost like a preset move. So if your move doesn't come off, or for some reason the game doesn't like it, it defaults to a suplex. And that just shouldn't happen. You should only be performing the moves that you've assigned for that superstar, not just generic ones that pop up from time to time. And there are a few instances of that too. So in that instance, that's where the moveset is failing the superstar, and I don't know why. That seems to be more of a bug that 2K need to look into and work out, because the game is actually performing moves that aren't even assigned to that superstar. And you go in and have a look at the moveset of that superstar, and you won't find from pressing up on the analog stick that you've got a suplex assigned to him at all. So there are issues with superstars' movesets, and it's quite evident that there are issues, because one of the aspects on the community creations is where people upload their own custom movesets, because the in-game version is simply not accurate. And I don't mind them not being always 100% accurate. I think, you know, they should get pretty close, like 98%. But when you just have moves that are kind of dropped in there and they have no tie to the superstar, that to me is disappointing, because it can ruin a match. Like, you've got this flow going, you're having a good match, certain superstars pulling off the moves you'd expect, and then drops in this random move. It's a bit like having a big guy doing a high flying move. You're like, whoa, that don't look right. And then it really does ruin a match. So you have to stop, and, you know, in our instance, we have to re-edit, retake, and then come again. So, you know, just in my point of view, it would be fantastic if movesets were superstar accurate. And I'm sure if maybe I pitch this question to 2K, they'll say they are. But I would love to know the process of it. I really would. I don't think it's ever been covered. I don't think we've talked about that much, where, you know, we've understood the ins and outs of how a superstar's moveset is brought together in a WWE game. But I'd like to hear more about it. And as I'm talking to many of you guys, and I'm sure plenty of you are creators, do you find yourself having to go in and tinker with superstars' movesets constantly? Do you find that you're going in to the community creations and downloading movesets which are better or superior to the ones that 2K have already preset? I'd love to know that, because if you're doing that more often than not, then that tells me that the movesets do need some more work. And have you experienced these bugs that I've been encountering, where even though you have gone in and set up the moveset, there's still a move that comes out that you just can't get rid of, like the suplex? And I'm telling you, that suplex is god awful. I wish they just remove it. Yeah, I might plonk it in at some point in this video just so you can see it. It looks a bit like a Goldberg Undertaker botch suplex. It's just kind of meh. Yeah, that's as good as you're gonna get me summing it up. I just don't like it. But anyway, I digress. I want to get your views and opinions on this. I definitely think it's an area that should be addressed, because the more accurate these are, the better the flow of a match you get. It doesn't really then have you think, oh no, that spoilt my match. And I do get that quite a lot. I kind of sit there and I think, why was that put in there? It doesn't work. And I wish it wouldn't be like that. I kind of, once we've, like, if you look at the way we've set up, for example, maybe I'll put this in a separate video after WrestleMania, but I might just show you guys the default moveset with some of the superstars which we had, and then what they were changed to for the WrestleMania moveset. I think that might be quite a cool thing to show you guys, so you can see where we've tweaked and changed the moveset and tried to make them more superstar specific and more accurate, and in some instances as well just make the moveset more epic, more exciting, because like I said, sometimes it feels like a move has been put in there just generic, and then there's a superstar specific move, and then there's another generic move. So it's almost like a couple in, a couple out. And if you go online, like I said, you can search up movesets so easily. There's like top 50 moves, top 20 moves, top 10 moves of superstars. And you can build that catalogue very simple by simply searching on YouTube. So that's a tip for you guys. If you want to go and tweak your movesets, just go and do a top 20 moveset search and then go in and edit accordingly. But do you think these should be improved for WWE 2K20? Have you experienced this yourself? Do you find yourself where you get a bit frustrated with the movesets? And what do you think should be done better? And which superstars have you tweaked over this year's game? I'd love to hear those viewpoints. It was just a topic that came to mind because, like I said, I've been doing all this work and that was something that sprung up, and there'll probably be other things that we'll talk about too. But if you enjoyed this video and you think they do need to be updated and improved, drop a like on this video and don't forget to subscribe to the channel with the notification bell turned on so you stay up to date with all my content, and most notably Universe Mode WrestleMania. You'll get notified when WrestleMania and the kickoff show has been uploaded if you do have that bell dinged. So all that's left to be said is please rate, comment and subscribe. How would you like to see movesets improved? Have your say in the comments below. And this is Delzinski signing out.